What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film, where we dissect your favorite films, film franchises, and TV. On our final episode of Slice of TV, Dexter New Blood, we are talking about the season finale, series finale, however you want to view this, of the show, titled Sins of the Father. Joining me, as always, is the wonderful Angela from DNA Gaming. Always needs the applause.
I was told I need to talk more. So
she's not feeling well, but I'm very happy that she is here to talk about this.
I am here.
As you know, we start off this show spoiler free, so we are going to just as much as we can. We are going to not spoil the episode. We'll just give you our thoughts and the things without spoiling. And then once we run out of things to talk about spoil free, we will give you guys the go ahead to get the hell out of here if you haven't seen the final episode of Dexter New Blood, and then come back when you're done to see all the spoilers. Oh, it's it. This is it. It's been 10 weeks, Angela. It's been 10 weeks. We started this journey so long ago, and it has come to the end, and it was exactly how I feared when we talked at the end of last week's episode. It's all about landing the plane. Did this land the plane, Angela?
No.
Yeah.
One of their landing gears got stuck, and they hit and went.
Yep. Back in 2013, when the original series ended, they gave us probably one of the worst endings in probably television history, at least for me. The amount of dedication and love I have for Dexter just all crumbled at the end of the original series. And when they announced they were going to do this revival, this justified season of Dexter to kind of, give us that satisfaction that we didn't get, they gave us another just disappointment. And the thing about the original series is, like, in season 8, that whole season was kind of a mess. It wasn't good. I think Angela said she didn't even finish it.
I did. I watched the last episode, but I was halfway through season 8, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah. At least with that season, yeah, the whole season was a mess. So it was kind of, you were just expecting the end of it to be bad. That's not how this one went. We got 9 weeks of fantastic television. Some of the best Dexter episodes I've ever seen.
Yep.
And I said it last week. I said that I have that feeling like they just need to give us something that we can turn off the TV and be like, man, I'm glad it ended that way. But unfortunately, these writers, which, listen, I'm not a writer. I can't say it's probably a very hard job. But the fact that you built such a great story throughout the entire season and then you couldn't end it. Come on. The creator and showrunner, Clyde Phillips, he was the one who wrote this episode, and he stated that this is one of the best things he's ever written. And to be honest, after reading that, I don't want to watch anything else that he's written, because this episode was... I won't say the whole episode was bad, because
it wasn't all bad.
This episode built up where you're like, oh my God, all these things are going to happen. We're going to see some people face off. We're going to see things go the way that it should have ended in the original series. And then it's like they didn't know what to do. Everybody jumped off the cliff. It wasn't a drastic fall. It all just came crashing down, and it was like, oh shit, there's only 20 minutes left of this episode. We got to rush. We got to do some shit that don't make any sense to the character. We're going to drastically have, Dexter and Harrison have this great relationship, and then drastically it's over. And you're like, what did I just watch? I just don't get it. I just don't get how you can do this to your fans. And to say this is one of your best writing, it's just shameful.
Yeah.
I'm just so sad. I wanted to cry. I wanted to literally tear up and cry because of just how it was like an injustice.
Yeah, because, this season, this whole from beginning to almost the end, up until now has been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I've had, nothing, nitpick here and there, but nothing bad to say about it. It's been great. And then what did they do? They tethered everybody together and they went boop, and pushed them off.
Yep.
Said, here you go. This is what you get.
It's just one of those things where, do you point at Showtime for only allowing them to do 10 episodes? Was it Clyde Phillips who decided he wanted to only do 10 episodes? Because this show, I feel like the way they were going in this final episode was maybe there should have been an 11th episode. We were over halfway through the episode where they set up that two characters were going to reunite, that they were going to see each other again.
Yeah.
And then nothing happened with it.
I was like, what the
hell? What? What do you mean? It blows my mind. I understand how Game of Thrones fans feel. I've not seen Game of Thrones, but I know that the end of that show is just as disappointing. And to be honest, I feel the same way I felt, 9 years ago when I finished watching the original series. Just sheer disappointment. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
I was like, please don't do it again. Please don't do it again. And what did you do?
It's just the final verdict. I know we're in the beginning of this episode, but the final verdict for me is just straight disappointment. Straight disappointment. And to be honest, I saw some people that I follow on Twitter who were talking about, no spoils for me. So I wasn't, I didn't know what was going to happen, but they were talking about like, hey, did you see Dexter? It seemed just as disappointing as the original. And it's just like, great. I'm so looking forward to this. And it started off so promising because that was the thing. It's like, it wasn't like it just started off bad. Things were happening and stuff. But then like by the time we got to a certain point, it's like, boy, they don't have much time left. And they're setting up all this stuff. And then, like I said before, they literally looked at the time. They're like, oh shit, guys, we only got 20 minutes. We gotta get this going. This is the season finale.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh man. Well, I feel that's enough for us to talk about non-spoilers. I can't even talk. I'm just sad. Just sadness flowing through me.
I did like the title of the episode, how it came down the lake and it broke off into pieces, or the river. Yeah. That was really cool.
Yeah. That was really cool. I loved the title. Every episode had a really cool title card.
Yeah.
And did you notice that when it shows Dexter New Blood, every episode the blood would fill up the new blood part?
Oh.
And then the final episode it was all
That's
red.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen the season finale of Dexter New Blood, please tune out. Go watch it. Come back, listen to us spoil the shit out of this, and continue our disappointing conversation about this disappointing episode.
Disappointed with us.
Join the yes, and make sure. Thank you to everybody. Again, this is literally. I want to thank people. I want to thank everybody at the end of the episode as well. Thank you to everybody who has supported this show. This is probably our most watched show on YouTube and on podcast services. You guys have loved listening to us talk about Dexter. And yes, we will be doing more shows down the line. It's just time. And I'll talk about it more at the end of the episode when we wrap it all up. So, but thank you to everybody who's commented, liked, and our last Dexter New Blood episode did awesome on our YouTube channel. So keep watching it, people. And guess what? We got other videos on there, so make sure you watch all those too. We got podcasts and stuff like that. So keep watching. Thank you.
Yeah, like it blew up.
It did. So thank you. All right. Spoilers, everybody. Spoilers. So you can't get mad at me in the comments when I spoil this episode. So spoilers. All right. Where to begin, Angela? Where to begin?
Damn it.
Damn you!
I mean, literally at the end, I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, what?
I was boiling. From the inside. It was just like, they did it again? They did it to me again?
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah, Dan came down here. He's like, don't tell me what happens. He's like, okay, you can tell me what happens. So I tell him, I'm like, I gotta watch it again.
Oh.
So I was like 3/4 of the way through the episode again, and I'm like, wow, all over again. Just.
So this was the worst reviewed episode. It got like a 41. It got a lot more viewers, but it got a lot more negative results out of it.
I can see why.
IGN gave it an 8 out of 10. Who's rating this show?
Fuck IGN.
I need to talk to this person. Matt Fowler? What do you mean 8 out of 10? Did you watch the original series? Did you watch the rest of this show? You think this is a good conclusion to this entire thing? You're crazy. You're out of your fucking mind. This was laziness, and this was just, why couldn't there have been an extra episode? Why couldn't this have been 13 episodes like the original series used to run, or like most shows of this caliber tend to run? Because that's the thing. They had all this. I feel like they had all this stuff. They just didn't have enough space.
Yeah.
You go, the first half of this episode is actually pretty decent. Okay. So the beginning is Angela driving up to the burned down cabin. You know, she's had her suspicions about Dexter the whole, pretty much halfway through the season. And, she sees him, cleaning up and stuff. And she's listening to Molly Park's podcast about I believe it's about the Bay Harbor Butcher. Oh, no. About why she's going to Iron Lake.
Yeah.
It's about Matt and then Kurt and stuff like that. So, and of course she puts out a APB about, because Molly Park's been missing for 72 hours. So she just needs help trying to find her. Things happen with Dexter and Harrison where, people are giving them stuff and because their house burned down and all that. And then as Dexter and Harrison are kind of alone, they talk, Dexter talks to Harrison about how, hey, we got to get out. Like, we can't stay here. Hey, where do you think, where would you want to be? Where do you want to live? And he's like, well, I just got here. Why would I want to leave? Like, I have friends and all that. And he just got his varsity jacket or his Letterman's jacket for wrestling. And, it's one of those things you're like, oh, okay. I felt like this was going to come, like this whole thing of him having to force Harrison to leave because of what they've done and what what Dexter's plan is for what they're going to do down the road. He's going to make this a business. Him and Harrison are going to go into business and continue the killing of the bad people. Angela finds another one of those surgical screws or bolts or whatever the hell they are in the burnt down cabin. And so that's it. She's got him. She goes back to her house. Dexter and Harrison and Audrey, they're in the kitchen doing their thing. And Angela tells him to go out and get stuff for whatever they were making. It was a mac and cheese, or I don't know, it was pasta. It was pasta of some sort. So they send the kids out, and as she's trying to play it cool, and then she whips out her gun and arrests Dexter for the murder of Matt Caldwell. And Logan comes in, and of course now Logan knows that he's not Jim Lindsay. He arrests, so he gets arrested, and he goes in, and he's playing it off. He doesn't know what they know. And initially you're like, oh shit, is he going to make a move? Because he looks at the knives, and he's seeing like where she is position wise based in the reflection on the toaster, which I thought was cool. And then of course Logan comes in and it screws everything up, and he has to play it off. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Ange, talk to me. All that, Dexter.
Logan messing up Dexter's plans for like the 5th time.
Yeah.
This whole time.
Yeah, and he gets into the cop car and he's like, Angie, you gotta talk to me. You gotta tell me what is happening right now. Even though he knows she knows something. They get to the police station, and they show that they got a little montage of him getting his mugshot taken, his fingerprints taken, and all that, and then he's gonna have a little interview with Angela, and you get the thing where she is, she's got stuff on him, so she starts nailing into him. She's like, "Listen, somebody gave me a envelope full of these surgical screws. We found this in your house, the same exact ones." And Dexter, being Dexter, is like, okay, cool. What? Do you not see what's happening here? I'm being set up. Kurt. When I went down to I went to the cabin and I got Molly out of there, and we go back and that room is all stripped, and we foiled this. I foiled whatever plans he had, so now he's seeking revenge on me. So he's setting me up. And well, before that, I think she mentions about how she's like, yeah, so these are, when I'm talking about these screws, they're not, these aren't just an example. These are the real things. These are Matt Caldwell, the ones that were used on Matt Caldwell. What the crazy thing is titanium doesn't melt. And I love where Dexter's like, yeah, I keep getting reminded of that in his head, which I thought was good. Like I said, the beginning of this episode, and like most of this is good. I love most of it. I mean, the beginning of it through halfway, it's really good. There's a lot going on here that works, and they set things up, and you're like, it gets you all pumped and excited. And then it just, everything is like, bam, 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 done. And you're like, what do you mean? You're going to end it like that?
Yeah.
I was just so confused. How are you going to set up that Angel Batista is going to, he gets sent the picture of Dexter, and he's all, of course he's mad because of Dexter is pretty much, he's the one who kills his wife, or his ex-wife. And he's got everything. He's ready. He's like, I will meet with you. So yeah, he's ready to come down. And I'm like, sweet. We're going to get a face off between Batista and Dexter, because they haven't seen each other since Dexter's supposed death. And of course, Dexter was a suspect in being the Bay Harbor Butcher down there in Miami. So we're going to see that interaction. You're just like, yes, I'm so excited. And then nothing happens with it. Literally nothing happens with it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Like, what was the point of that? What was the point of bringing him in if you're not going to have that interaction? So Dexter is telling Angela that Kurt set him up because he was an easy person to target, and because in reality Kurt's the one who killed Matt. Matt was never at that hotel, he was never at the cabin, and Kurt was hiding all the evidence that he did it. And she's trying to I feel like she's at like a crossroads. Like, should I believe this guy who's been lying to me this whole time? Or what? And of course, his whole thing was because he's seeking revenge on her for arresting him in the first place. It's all crazy. Harrison comes to the police station with Audrey, and Harrison and Dexter have their talk about, leaving, and everything's going to be fine. I'm going to get out of this. We're going to go, and everything will be okay. He gets put into the jail cell. And the whole time I'm like, man, when's Deb showing up? I feel like Deb should be here taunting him the entire time. And she makes her appearance way later. Like, it's pretty close to the end of this episode where she makes her first appearance. And of course they have that their normal interaction, and he's had enough of her. He's done. He's done listening to her, constantly tell him that he's wrong and he's an idiot, and this is all your fault. The character I feel bad for the most in this episode has to be Logan.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best side characters in the show. And he just gets unceremoniously knocked off. And it's one of those moments. Yeah. He was such a good guy. He was really good to Harrison. He was really nice to Jim Dexter throughout this entire thing. He's a good cop, and of all the characters that could have died, it just makes Dexter look worse.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, Dexter is a serial killer, but he was a serial killer who was feeling like he was justifiably doing what he was doing. He was eliminating the bad seeds from the world. Logan was the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
And the only reason that he does it is because he needs to escape, because he's going to get set up, or he's going to be charged as being Bay Harbor Butcher, because Angela tells Dexter, hey, you're going to meet an old friend. He's coming up, and they're going to bring you back down to Florida. And guess what? They have the death penalty. And so Dexter is like, oh, shit.
She mentions Batista, and he's like, oh.
Yeah, and that's when he changes his tune, where he goes, okay, turn off the camera. And she's like, why would I turn off the camera? Just say whatever you need to say to the camera. And he's like, no, I'll talk if you turn the camera off. And she turns the camera off, and immediately she thinks he's going to confess. But in reality, what he's doing, she's like, oh, you're going to confess? He's like, no, I'm not confessing to anything. I'm going to tell you things I know. It's like, you go out to Kurt's cabin, you go out 100 yards from the cabin, there'll be a hatchway. Go down to that hatchway, and you'll see what true evil is. Once this scene happens, this is where the episode just goes down. Once this happens, it's all over. Because she says, she goes out and by herself to the cabin to investigate what Dexter tells her, and Dexter gets locked up. We get the scene where he gets the tuna sandwich, which is, a throwback to prior episodes where, that's Dexter's number one thing he gets at the tavern. And him and Logan, they have their back and forth about, trying to be a good dad, and Harrison needs a father, and Dexter likes Logan. Like, there was no He has that internal conversation way earlier in the episode when he's seeing everybody around, like helping him get the cabin all picked up and stuff like that. And he's like, this is a good place. These people are, these are all good people. And it just
screws it up.
Yeah. And it just sucks to see a character like Logan, who is just such a good hearted person, get killed the way he does. It's such unceremoniously. Who decided this? Like, this is just terrible writing. I understand somebody has to, I feel like somebody would have had to die. But I feel like it could have been so different. There could, instead of just he's choking him out, and Logan tries to initially goes for his keys, and then he goes for his gun, and Dexter's like, don't do that. And then as soon as he touches his gun, Dexter snaps his neck, and you're like, oh, sweet. That's how that's going to go. And once that happens, I don't care about Dexter anymore. I'm like, well, that sucks.
He broke his own code.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, he was in panic mode.
Mm-hmm. Why did he have so much blood on him? He chokes him out and snaps his neck. Was he bleeding from somewhere?
So when he first asked him for water, he asked him for water. So he's bringing the water back. Dexter grabs him and smashes his face on the bars.
Right. Okay. I was like, a little bit of me was like, oh yeah, why does he have blood on him? But then it's because he got his face destroyed on the bars before Dexter chokes him out.
Had a nice headache going on.
The other deputy there, who I'd never remember his name, he calls Angela about how Kurt has packed up all his stuff and left. Yeah, Teddy. Yeah. And Angela's like, okay, well, you need to stay there. Can you stay there overnight to just make sure Kurt doesn't come back? So he's there. Dexter is, of course, in jail. Harrison spends the night with Audrey one last time, and Angela goes out to investigate the story that Dexter told her. And boy, we get to go back to the Hall of Nightmares, which this was actually a good scene. Her going down into the bunker, seeing first you see like the operating table, and then she goes into the room, and it's always that great shot where it doesn't show what's in the room. It just shows her face. She walks in, it just shows her like a zoomed in part of her face as she's like taking in everything she's seeing. And you get you get that great, back and forth where she looks and she knows every girl in these boxes, and it just flashes to the missing sheets that are on her little bulletin board there. And then it gets to the end, and it's Molly Park, and that's as she completely breaks down, and then she freaking books it out of there. She tries to call Logan. Logan's not picking up. Or well, first she tries radio. He's not answering his radio. Then she tries to call him. He doesn't answer. And then she ends up calling, the other guy. She asks him, hey, have you heard from Logan lately? And he's like, no. She's like, at first she's like, you need to call everybody because I just found 30 bodies. So call everyone. And of course, once she finds out that the other guy hasn't heard from Logan, she knows something bad has happened. So she books back to the police station, finds Logan dead, and Dexter's gone. Of course, Dexter leaves. He steals Logan's police car. Before that, he calls Harrison and goes, hey, meet me where we found the white deer. And you're like, oh boy. And just this entire thing was just a mess. This was just a mess because they set up this whole Batista thing. And so I'm waiting for Batista to come in and have that really cool reunion shot where I'm just imagining how it could have been. I closed my eyes and I could see it of Batista and Dexter being eye to eye as Dexter's in the jail cell and Batista's on the other side, and then everything kind of goes a completely different way. But instead, it's just something that's set up and then it's never mentioned again because the way that this show ends is so abrupt. Dexter, he's running. You get the shot of him running through the woods, and Harrison's there, waiting for him. And they both meet each other again. And Harrison's like, "Why? Whose blood is that?" And then he goes, "Oh, you called me from Logan's phone." And it was kind of like one of those things where it's like, is that Coach's blood? And he's like, I had to do what I had to do to get out, to be with you. And they have this conversation like, you told me, like, he was a good person. We don't hurt good people. And it was kind of, I think, Dexter realizing in that moment when Harrison just, of course, there's like, we got to get out of here. I can't live without you. You are the only thing that's really keeping me around. Like you came back to me and I'm not letting you leave again. And that's when, he's like, okay, let's go. And Harrison whips out his rifle that Dexter bought him, which is that culmination of, Dexter's the one who bought him the rifle. And once
what I said,
right?
I think he's going to hurt him. Didn't think he's going to kill him.
Yep. That's how it goes. He aims the rifle at Dexter. And at that moment, Dexter sees his son aiming the gun at him. And I think that's when he realizes, okay, this is where it needs to end. Because if you're going to be, if this is how it's going to be with you, then what's the point? And yeah, he broke his own code. He killed an innocent person.
Because he wasn't cooperating.
Yeah. Which is just.
What the hell?
It was just stupid. And of course, you always think like somebody. I was waiting for someone to interfere. I thought Angela was going to come in and interfere, like, no, put the gun down. But instead, we get the shot. You just hear it at first, and then you see that he did shoot Dexter in the point blank in the heart. Like it was like immediate. Dexter falls. He's bleeding everywhere, and he says, "You did good." That's the last words that Dexter Morgan ever says. And we get the shot of Deb holding his hand as his life, ends. And we get Harrison kind of just comprehending everything that's happening. Angela shows up. She sees what happened. And at first, like, Harrison's accepting, I'm going to get arrested. And instead, she lets him go. She tells him to leave, never come back here. And she covers up for him. She wipes off his fingerprints on the gun, which I didn't know you could just wipe people's fingerprints off with your glove. I don't think that's how it works. I don't know. I'm not going to look too far into that. But she lets him go and she covers up for him. She calls it in as a police, to play it off like she shot him, even though they're going to investigate it and find a 22 round in him, which also something I guess we're not supposed to question.
Yeah, like it's the same bullet that her gun holds.
No. Harrison gets into the truck, which is Dexter's truck. Okay, it's still registered in his name, or at least his alias's name. And no one's going to question that as it's driving through town and past all of the federal agent vehicles that are driving past him at the end. And he reads a letter that Dexter wrote to Hannah 10 years before. Just kind of saying like he wishes things were different. He wishes he could be with them, but it's just not how it works. Just the way that he is, it can't work out. And it's just such a dissatisfying end. I was just so like, it left a bad taste in my mouth. Like, you're really going to end it this way? You're going to kill Dexter off in the most unceremonious way? Like, I would have rather seen. So originally, I guess there was an ending for the original series that Clyde Phillips had written, where Dexter wakes up at the end, and he's strapped to a table. He's strapped to like the execution table, and in the uh, observation room is all of his victims, like the innocent victims, and some other people, and it was all like a dream, like everything that happened in that final season was all just kind of like a dream. And to be honest, I feel like that would have been a decent ending for this, not in that way, but I feel like why not have Batista come there, arrest him? We see the you don't see the whole trial, but you could see like him going through the trial and shit, and then it all ends with him getting executed. It ends the way a serial killer's life is going to end. But to be shot unceremoniously in the woods by his son just seems so lazy. It's just lazy.
Yeah.
Straight up disappointment.
Oh gosh. No, I do like Harrison's anger toward him at the end,
Oh
where
yeah.
he says, uh, "Are you gonna leave something about leaving me again?" Or no, that you left me every time.
Yeah.
It wasn't just once, it was every time.
Yep.
Um, and he's like, "You keep blaming this on your dark passenger. It's not even a passenger, it's fucking driving."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "I can stop." And it's like, "No, you can't.
He's like,
You're
I'm not your
never
caretaker.
gonna stop." Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not your caretaker. Which I did like that confrontation between Dexter and Harrison. It's just the way it all went. It just the way it all ended. It was like,
Don't shoot him.
okay, that's it. He escapes. He does all those things where he kills Logan. He escapes. He gets to Harrison, and it just ends. According to sources, Clyde Phillips has stated that it's up to Showtime whether or not they do anything after this. If they were to do something, following Harrison, I think it's over. I think we just need to end. I think.
Like, what are you gonna do with
What are you gonna do?
Dexter dead?
What are you
The
gonna
show is
do?
named Dexter.
Exactly. What are you gonna?
He's dead.
I just feel it's over. Like you swung and you missed to end this series originally, and you swung and missed again, especially after such a strong show. This show was so good for 9 weeks. So good. And
9 and a half.
Yeah, 9 and a half. Well, yeah, I'll give it the half. And then it just it's over. I'm just so confused. I really want to see. I really want to hear something. I really want something to come out that be like, hey, we wanted to do 12 episodes and Showtime didn't give us, they told us it could only be 10 and, we had to squeeze it. It's a Game of Thrones situation. That's what we got. You get such a strong show and then it all just kind of dies with a whimper and you're left with questions and what ifs and you're. But there's,
there's so much in this episode that could have been shortened to put Batista at the end coming in. And they could have had a quick montage. But no. Like, what? I'm still so mad.
Yeah. Because we're never going to see the aftermath of, Dexter being fully brought out as the Bay Harbor Butcher. Because that also gets swept under the rug. Like
That's what he wanted. That he has that file for a reason.
Yeah.
He's kept it all this time.
And the fact that you showed us that.
Yeah.
You showed us everything. And then he never shows up again.
Yeah.
Just was such a letdown. You might as well just cut that entire part of her calling him.
Yeah. Like, if you're not going to do something with it, just cut it completely out.
Yeah. And what a scene that was, too, when she calls Angel up and she's talking to him about the Bay Harbor Butcher and about Dokes and, we thought it was somebody else in the precinct. And she asks who, and he says Dexter Morgan, but he's been dead for years. And then she goes, look at your email. And in the email is a picture of Dexter with Angela. And, he's all like, holy shit, Dexter's still alive. and he brings out the file, and he kind of you get the flashback of his, what was her name? LaGuardia. You see her face and stuff, and I always forgot. I forgot that they were married in the other show. Up until were they married when she died? I don't remember. It's been so long. He says ex-wife, so I'm guessing they were divorced before she died, because I don't think you call your deceased spouse your ex once they're dead if you're still married. I don't think they were, but I digress. So you're like, boy, it's just so much left on that table of what they could have done. And I feel like I could go on and on about the disappointment and the what ifs and everything, but this episode could be hours and hours long of just us stating our disappointment. And I know there's going to be people who will defend this episode, and that's rightly so. I'm not saying you have to hate this episode. I just it wasn't hate, it was disappointment. It was just straight disappointment. Because we got fed such, like, it's like getting just a beautiful meal for 9 weeks. And then that final meal is just prison food, just slop, just put in front of you.
So I'm looking at all the episodes on IMDb. They're all rated 8.5 and above.
Yeah.
You get to the last one and it's 4.5, and it has the most reviews out of all of them.
Yep. I just want to let everybody know that if you watch this episode and you're like, what the fuck happened about halfway through, my PC crashed halfway through this recording. So if I missed something that we didn't talk about because my brain was in a different world trying to figure out my PC issue, make sure to put it in the comments. Yeah, this is it. This is the final episode of our Dexter New Blood reviews. This is our last episode of Slice of TV for a bit until we can find another TV show to cover, whether it be a show that's been out or a new show. We originally, before people were like, wait, what happened to Peacemaker? We were going to do Peacemaker, but the fact that they're dropping 3 episodes at once, it's just going to be hard for us having jobs and kids and stuff where we'd have to watch 3 episodes and then do a review on it before the 4th episode next week. Worst comes to worst, maybe we can watch the 4 episodes and then maybe do a review next week. Maybe. I'm not going to say anything. For as right now, this is going to be the last Slice of TV for a bit. We will announce the next time we do a TV review. This has been a lot of fun. This is definitely something different, talking about movies every week. It's good to talk about something on TV, and I'm thankful for Angela being here and talking Dexter with me every week, even though unfortunately we had to end it had to end on a low note.
Yeah.
But it's always a pleasure talking to you and recording shows with you. It's been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next show we decide to do.
Hopefully something good.
Hopefully something that ends good, that starts good, continues to be good, and then ends good. Didn't need to be spectacular. It just needed to be better than this.
I'm just looking at the titles of some of these reviews, and it's like, yep.
Just disappointment. Don't forget to check out our new podcast episode coming out this Friday. We are talking about Lake Placid from 1999. It's a nice little Betty White tribute that we do. Since her passing, we figured we'd cover a movie to show some love to the late Betty White, as she is literally the best part of Lake Placid. So make sure to check out that podcast episode this Friday. As for the Scream fresh cut, it's going to come at some point. Based on the rising numbers of, the new variant for COVID and the way, everything's going on right now, it might not be as soon as we wanted to do it. I'm really, really hoping Paramount Plus just drops it on their streaming service so I can watch it at home. That would be great.
Hopefully.
Well, you never know. But it'll come at some point.
Person.
Yeah, it's just tough right now to do movies that are in theaters. So that'll be out at some point. I mean, worst comes to worst, if we don't get to cover it when it first comes out, we will cover it down the road when we cover all the Scream movies as a whole. So I apologize in advance for that. We did talk about doing it, but pandemic's has other ways of working. So we have to all try to stay safe and not try to get others sick and try to get this shit over with. All right, people. We just want this all to end.
Yes, I want it to end. I'm sick of it.
It's crazy. Just absolutely crazy. As for next week's episode of the podcast, which I'll probably talk about, which I talk about on the in our next the podcast that's coming out this Friday, we are going to be talking about sequels, movie sequels. Since Scream is coming out, that's a movie sequel, and we've been getting sequels for the last 5 years, and actually probably longer than that. We're just going to be going through and talking about our favorite sequels, the goods, the bads, and the uglies, as we say. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's these topic episodes have been a blast to do, and I'm looking forward to it. As for everything else, I got nothing other than make sure to follow us on social media. I am Parker Dissects on everything. All of the links will be down below. Angela is DNA Gaming. Her links will be down below because it's all different things for Twitch and Twitter and stuff like that. So I don't have any cool graphics to show you our tags. So everything is in the description. So if you want to find us on social media or Twitch or whatever, go down there, click on those links. Make sure, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or iTunes or whatever the hell it's called nowadays, make sure to rate us a 5 out of 5 and leave us a review. If you liked the episode, tell us why. Tell us why you like the show. Tell us what you like about the episode you watched. Spotify now has ratings. You can't write reviews yet, but they do have ratings. So make sure to rate us a 5 over there. Make sure to follow us on YouTube. We are youtube.com/dissect that film. Yes, baby, we got a URL. And we are close. We are so close to 200 subscribers already. So thank you to everybody who has dropped the sub over there. It is free. You don't have to pay. And every week I go live on the Dissect That Film Twitch channel where I just talk to anyone who's in chat while I edit that week's podcast episode. So if you want to, come and chat with me while I'm doing some work, make sure to drop a follow over at twitch.tv/dissect that film. Dissect That Film on social media is we are on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, even though there is literally no TikToks up yet. One day I'll be, I won't be lazy and I'll make some TikToks for the channel, but it's just not a priority right now. But yeah, go follow all the social medias. Like I said, everything will be down in the description. I think that's it. You got anything before we leave? Everybody wish Angela, send all the positive vibes over to Angela and her household as they're going through the sicknesses. So you got this. Yeah. All right. Until next time, we are Dissect That Film. I am Brett Parker. That is Angela from DNA Gaming. And we will see you all next week on the podcast. Yeah. Not on this. Oh, not on this, guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye.